Okay, so this is to show you how to make a bouquet charm. These are very popular among brides, and they're usually used for some kind of memorial for someone they are missing on their special day. So it may say dad, it may say grandpa, grandma, mom, sister, whatever. This is a missing you that anyone's photo could go into. There are instructions for them to insert the picture. But what we're going to be working on today is the ribbon. This is the part that attaches to the actual bouquet, and we recommend that the bride gives it to her florist or whatever. The most important thing that we're going to emphasize here is that there really is a front and back on these hooks. They look identical, but they all have to match the picture on Amazon exactly and be consistent. So the hook will always be on the right hand side here. And so what we're going to do is put the ribbons on, and what we want is this to always be solid up here with the hook on the right. You can see the back looks like this. This is what we don't want on the front. If your hook is on the right and this is what you see, it's actually on backwards. This is not that difficult really, but it's something that a lot of people struggle with just to remember. So in the end, this is what it's going to look like with the hook on the right and it's solid up here. The ribbon's about 10 inches, so about 5 on each, and we want it to not look frayed. If all you're doing today is just ribbons, you want to use a very clean pair of scissors. We have plenty of scissors that are brand new, and make a slanted edge. If you're someone that's actually assembling the bouquet charms and sticking them into the Ziploc bag, you may want to snip it at the last minute before it goes in the bag, just so it doesn't look sloppy and frayed there. So the trick to this is, one of the best tools to use is the one that's round. You can also use different things you might find around your house. I actually have a stopper that goes into your drinks, you know, like a syrup kind of thing that's just the right size, but don't use like a paper clip or something that's going to end up snagging the ribbon. We do have white and cream, and the consistency is just a little bit different on each. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that these are laid out correctly, which means the hook has to be on the right. So that's really the key to doing this, is make sure that your hook is on the right. So we're going to turn these over. I usually work with about 10 or 15 at a time, and I might lay them all out in a row, or even if they're like this a little bit, as long as that hook is on the right. You see what I'm talking about? See how if it was this way, that would be backwards. So you want to lay them flat on your desk or your tray or whatever. The hook is on the right. As long as the hook's on the right and the ribbon pushes down, it won't be backwards. You're good to go. So what you're going to do is grab your ribbon. These are already, I've already cut them, but that's generally part of the job, is cutting them in about 10 inches. A little bit longer than 10's okay, since they might be snipped, but we definitely don't want them shorter. What you're going to do is grab it, and then I kind of do this thing with my pinky. Now remember, I have kind of strange hands. They're a little deformed, so I tend to do things with my hands that may look odd to you, or you may find better flexibility, a way to do it. But I tend to kind of hold it with my pinky there, and then you just kind of give it a little push. Now, when I'm doing it at home, I end up doing this to about 10 and let them sit, and then I go back and pull them through real fast. But to show you the entire step, see how the hook was on the right, we push the ribbon down. We're going to kind of give it a slight tug. You want to make sure that ribbon stays nice and flat. Don't start twisting it up. And then you're just going to reach through and pull the two, and then give it a little snug. Now, you want to make sure that the ends are together. You can see that's already starting to fray there. The ends are together, and it's got the front here and the hook on the right. If you start to pull and you tug on one a little too long, a little too far, you can just loosen it up real careful with your fingernail there and give it another tug. But this is how we want it to look. Nice and clean, not twisted up. Sometimes they come back and they're twisted, you know, and then I sit there and have to untwist them. What you want to remember with these bouquet charms is this is probably our most sentimental, precious item any woman is going to receive, usually from a friend or a relative, sometimes from a mom because her dad passed away of a heart attack the week before her wedding. And this is also one of our most photographed items because every professional wedding photographer takes a few pictures of the bouquet with the charm on it. So every detail on this, you have to imagine yourself in that woman's shoes, that if you were to have your dad pass away a week or two before the wedding and you open this up and the pearl has a dent in it and the ribbon looks twisted and frayed, that's not going to make you happy. So do take just that extra couple seconds to make sure it's right. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of these now. So we're going to grab the ribbon, find the center, and the hook is on the right there. I'm kind of just going to push, pull it a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to grab my other ribbon, find the center, fold it. If it gives you a little bit of a crease, it's a little easier to work with. Push that through. See how you can quickly kind of line them up this way? When you pick it up, you're going to pull, grab the ribbon, pull through, grab the ribbon, pull through. And that one, see, I pulled that a little bit too quickly. See how it's kind of gnarly there? So we're just going to loosen that up and make sure nothing is twisted up in there. I got a little bit too quickly, so that went a little too quickly, so that's a good example. This is an example of what not to do. But see, it does straighten right back out. And now I've got it correctly here, but my ends aren't, okay? They're very uneven. So I'm just gonna loosen it up again now that I've got it all flattened out and pull it through. It only takes doing that a couple of times and you find that extra second is worth doing it right to begin with instead of going back and fixing them. So when I ask for ribbons to be done, generally it's groups of 50, and what you will do is line all of these in 50 and then put them into a Ziploc bag and seal it up. And there usually is a number 50 in there, so I know that there really are 50 inside. Now if you're just prepping them and the ribbons are a little bit frayed here, don't worry about that right then. If you trim it, then the next person might have to trim it too, and our ribbons get shorter and shorter. But that's it. Okay, thank you so much.